Save file 3. 4, I'm keeping 4 as it is because after I'm done with this playthrough, I don't know if I'll go back and play again and pick that red-headed guy and see what he's all about. But let's continue where we left off. So they made it through one day, and they are on that little island during the day. So they should be safe, I believe. You're gonna play the heck out of it? Yeah, a short visual novel like this is pretty fun, you know? Just gotta make sure our reactions are good because you saw what happened being attacked by those creatures. It's like, oh crap. So far, I'm liking this game a lot. I like visual novels, and I like that it's partially voice acted, and it's not too scary. It was spoopy, but nothing I couldn't handle. Like, oh, it's not like the letter. Phew. But the fact that it had the same voice actress from the letter was pretty cool. Yeah, it's free, which is awesome. Free is wonderful. I like free. Not just the anime. It's more melancholic than scary. Yeah, the setting and the music. The letter isn't so bad. For me, the letter is like literally the stuff of my nightmares. Literally, that woman. Gotta get those good reactions and make a YouTube video involving those reactions to get all the views. Alright. My eyes slowly blink open and readjust to the brightness. What little there is. The sun is obscured by a thick layer of fog, making it impossible to estimate the time of day. I prop up my elbows and push myself up. The ground is hard and rocky, but that isn't the only reason I am eager to get on my feet. I check my surroundings. The harsh, craggy earth of the island is interlaced with twisting vines and gnarled branches. Beside me, Bemelle and Margaret are still fast asleep. The guide, however, is nowhere to be seen. I realize that I don't recall seeing him lay down with everyone. It's likely he left us hours ago. Oh, hell nah. This guide, who we don't trust, he better not have abandoned us, like, for real? That's not cool, bruh. We abandoned that redhead dude because you told us to. Come on, like, what gives? Seriously. There is a creeping silence here. And yes, Sign, we do need to get back to playing the letter because this is the month of October and I need to get on with the spoopiness. Justin just enjoys our suffering. I can't help but shudder at the hollow, aching feeling inside of me. It refuses to relent. I shift my weight back and forth, unsure of what to do with myself. Memories of last night's harrowing journey flicker through my mind. Bemelle wakes suddenly, rising with alarm and startling Margaret awake as well. My mouth opens, then shuts, and after a moment of fumbling, a word finally escapes.
Hello.
She's so funny. Like, yeah, we're in a bad situation. We might be screwed, but just gonna say hello. Oh, I'm not available this weekend anyway, Sign. It's fine. I gotta work. Work. But, yeah, the whole voter registration thing is going a little better now. Ever since I did the college day, I've had more recently, and it actually helped me get back in touch with my childhood friend. We were still friends on Facebook and stuff, but we hadn't talked in quite a while. And suddenly she was like, hey, you need me to do one of those pledges. And I was like, yeah, that'd be great. You're the only person on Facebook who actually responded. So yeah, she wants to get together. So I'll see if I can meet up with her Sunday or something after work or whatever. That would be awesome. Bemelle gives me a gentle smile and makes his way over to me. Margaret follows suit. Yeah, Bemelle's my boo in this game, apparently. We are like two peas in a pod. Need to follow South Park's logic, maybe? Vote or die? Oh, jeez.
Morning.
Morning. I don't remember your shirt having those patterns, but I'm kind of forgetful, so...
Is it even morning anymore?
Margaret tries to speak lightheartedly. However, it doesn't do much to improve the mood. A pocket of quiet descends over us.
We should eat something soon. Margaret, do you have enough supplies?
Yes, I think I'll be alright with what I have.
Okay. I guess they have a bag or something.
That's a relief. The two of us have plenty of rations, though, so if you need anything, you can always ask.
How nice. OT3! OT3! I totally forgot about that. Yes, the OT3! Woo! Oh, he had some armor on? Oh, that would explain it. I was like, he looks different to me. Almost hearing lemonade. The dim glow of lanterns, that's true. It is daylight, so we can see them a little better now. Margaret sighs and presses her fingers to her temples, acting as if she's fed up with us.
You know, the two of you need to stop looking out for everyone else so much.
Bemelle winces at the statement without vocalizing what's on his mind. Okay, we already said this, but I don't know if I should say Bemelle or Bemelle. I kind of like Bemelle more, but he was the one who said Bemelle in the beginning. I don't know. Maybe I should just say what I want to say. Your name is gonna be Bay. Just Bay. I'm just gonna call you Bay. It's easier for me. Margaret and I share a glance. This is about the person we left behind yesterday. The person we didn't help. Oh, 100 bits. Spread the love. Thank you, Justin. You're so generous. Except for when you're torturing us over the letter. Bemelle. Yeah, we'll just say Bemelle. I don't care. In the end, who's your true bae in this game? Well, he's my bae in this game right now, but my true bae? I don't know. I don't know. Right now, you know, with V3 feels and all that, it's hard. Then again, Tagami was he was the first. I can never forget Tagami. This is his atonement.
I'm sorry, I didn't intend.
It's not your fault.
It goes quiet between us once more. Oh, you're back. Psst. I still don't like him. A distinct rustling of the leaves around catches my attention. The guide appears, emerging from the thicket. If I had to say, in all of the video games I've ever played, which character I love 100%, like if they were real, I'd be on them, like, I would say Apollo Justice from the Ace Attorney series, because he 100% is my favorite character of all time. Now in anime, that's completely different, but I'm just talking about video games. Yeah, Tagami is a piece of crap, but he's a hot piece of crap. Best boy, Apollo. Yes. Did I read this? The guide appears emerging from the thicket. What's with the dead fish? Justin? You saying something about Apollo? Look at my stream layout. Look who's there. Me and Apollo. And me with a whip. Somebody whip Justin for me if he's talking bad about Apollo. If he's not talking bad about Apollo, then he don't need a whip. Margaret appears to be a little uncomfortable at his return. Bemelle glares at him as he makes his way over.
The Nixie will not tread on land in daylight. However, being near the shoreline is still dangerous. If you leave the center of the island, remain cautious.
Justin. Justin. Don't be, putting my dreams, my kinks out there like that, okay? And who's to say it would be that way? I mean, if Apollo's for it, I'm not saying nothing. Anyway, I didn't even pay attention to what the guy just said. Let me read this. Let me see. Nixie will not tread on land in daylight. Being near a shoreline is still dangerous. Okay.
Before the sun sets, I will be in this area. It would be wise to meet me here before nightfall.
Okay.
Why did we have to leave him behind?
Hey, the guide said to do it, and I did it because he was kind of suspicious. But I feel bad because the redhead guy was cute, okay? I feel bad. I'm sorry. Let it go, Bay. Let it go. I sharply turn towards Bay as he snarls and confronts the guide.
If you would just let him follow behind us, he would be alive.
The guide looks away, seemingly unaffected. Ooh, fanfic ideas? What? Now you wonder who yours is? That's too hard, but most recently you're swooning for Sandra from Pyre. Actually, all the ladies in that game? I know you've been playing that lately. I need to look into it. If I had to give you, like, a top bae female-wise in games, that would be very difficult. I have a few that I like. I tend to gravitate more towards the guy characters because that's how I am. But, I can definitely list Mia Fey as one candidate. Man, I don't know. Who else? Who else? Female. I mean, there's some females I really like in Danganronpa. Kyoko's pretty cool. Who else? Of course, Danganronpa 2 with Chiaki. Okay, go down, child. He was over here crying. I don't know. I'll keep thinking about it. I will think about this. About females. But yeah, Mia is probably up there for sure. Only lewdness can sustain. Mia. Mamma mia. Okay, I didn't mean to do that, but doggy boy, lay down. He's too upset with the mouse. I don't blame him. The guide looks away, seemingly unaffected.
If all you're going to do is leave everyone to be lost, then why bother guiding us at all?
He don't care. Look at him. He don't give a dang. I almost said the other word. I mean, why am I censoring myself at this point? Whatever. Please say hi to Kiba for you. Kiba, everybody says hi. Or at least Sign says hi. Lay down, honey. He was giving me such a hard time while I was recording with Smog earlier. It's like, dude, chill. I know the mouse is here. There's nothing we can do until it gets trapped. The mouse. The mouse is gonna jump scare me. Oh god, if that ever happened. Dear Lord, the screaming you would hear. I think y'all would freak out. Despite Bemelle's severe words, the guide apparently considers his piece here finished. He turns towards the forested area from which he came.
Wait.
Uh-oh. Bemelle calls out to the guide, reaching towards him. Before he can make contact, I quickly place a hand on his shoulder. He lowers his arm to his side, though I can still feel wrath emanating from him. I don't think that's possible, Justin, only because even though the room I'm in is right next to the kitchen, which is where he's at, Kiba's right here by my feet. So if anybody's gonna encounter him, it's gonna be Kiba, and I don't like that thought. But yeah. He better not come up in here. He come up in here, I'ma kill him. I'ma stomp on his ass. I swear I will. Be like, I don't care. You come near my child, I kill you. My little annoying child. Go to sleep. He lowers his arm to his side, though I can still feel wrath emanating from him. Oh, I did say that. Sorry. I keep getting distracted because we're talking and all that. We stay this way until the guy disappears from view. Bemelle begins to kick at the ground, spraying tiny pieces of gravel about.
Bemelle, I know you're angry, but regardless of our feelings, we need the guide. If he leaves us, we'll all die.
And we've done so well with him.
I give him a cold glance. We don't even know which bridge to take without the guide. Bemelle knows that. This needs to stop. There are people counting on us to make it back. And what of Margaret?
We can't afford to lose our way.
Oh, you're responding to the Mamma Mia thing? Yeah. Mamma Mia. Here we go again. The anger etched into his expression fades into sadness.
You're right, Kika. You're right.
He weakly swats his hand in front of his face, as if he's trying to shoo away his racing thoughts.
I can't stay here right now.
I nod, allowing him to leave alone. Beside me, Margaret releases a sigh.
Are you all right?
No, I'm not. Nothing is all right. It will never get any better.
What do you mean? Margaret sucks in a breath as she starts to get emotional. Before it can spill out of her, she turns on her heels and walks off in a direction different than the guide's. Quietly, I speak. Oh shoot, this is timed! Either the guide? No, I need to see my bae. We're already on his path, so why wouldn't I go after him? Lingering for only a moment, I start following the trail Bemelle took. It doesn't take him long to notice I'm there, and he slows his pace so I can easily catch up. We fall into step for a short while, neither of us speaking. Eventually, we come to a thick stand of trees and wordlessly weave our way through the branches. Once we're hidden by the foliage, Bemelle leans against a tree trunk, head hung low. Negativity radiates off of him, but I don't know what I should say. Well, at least during this time we can pursue the whole romantic avenue without being like, hey, we're in the middle of running from monsters, is this really the time? Fortunately, he breaks the silence.
I apologize for back there.
I nod firmly. His reply isn't unexpected. For as long as I have known Bemelle, he's had a tendency to let his temper flare, then regret it later, after processing his thoughts.
I know that dealing with these sorts of situations calmly is part of the job. I cannot tell myself everything is fine or that none of it matters. Sure, I can feel something without it being anger, but I've not figured that out either.
I was trying to hold it in until after he finished talking. My hunger for hot dudes is scarier than any monster. And then Coco says, monster pokes its head out from behind the tree to give you 2 thumbs up like, hey, yeah, you go get him. Go get him, girl. We're running from monsters, but we still found time to kiss each other. Yes. Yes, exactly. I'm gonna laugh if that happens in the letter too, because I know we have different shippings we can do there. I mean, right now, I'm all about the ship with, our cinnamon roll and, what's her name? Hana. Zach and Hana. They're adorable. They're adorable. Rather than speak, I try to listen as supportively as I can, while Bemelle continues to argue with himself. He sighs, while pensively rubbing the bridge of his nose.
Am I simply being foolish? Would it really have been so harmful to try and help someone else instead of focusing solely on oneself? It looks to me like we're telling ourselves these lines to avoid responsibility.
I don't know. It's possible you helping would have worked better. It's also possible it would have been worse.
I didn't really trust the redhead, but I don't know, the way the game is going on and on about this makes me feel like, oh shoot, he probably was a good person. Bemelle stares across the empty waters of Sinlos.
I want it to be clear that I have not forgotten that those people across this lake are depending upon us. Not for a moment. But would they want us to be so focused on them that we should turn a blind eye to others right in front of us? Even if they would, does that matter? We are more than weapons, we are people. Do we have to cast that aside, turn away from our fellow humans, just to achieve a so-called greater good?
Getting all deep about it.
It is not as though this village is a haven of saints. They are only as worthwhile as we are, and these people on the bridges with us. Aren't they?
I don't know.
I can feel the weight of his words settle upon me. I have had similar thoughts, and have questioned what the correct choice is, but unlike Bemelle, I have always been silent. I clench my fists tight to try and stop from saying something rash. Bemelle closes his eyes tight and rubs his face again. It is clear this hasn't been enough to give him much peace. Eventually, his eyes reopen and look directly into mine.
What do you think about all this, Kika? Please, be honest with me. I want to hear it.
Oh no, let me save. Decision time. I don't know what I'm supposed to say. Oh, that's true, Raptor is a lizard person too. I didn't know Justin was a snake. Suddenly, my eyes are hot. My vision blurs slightly from tears I desperately am trying to hold back.
I really don't know. That is the truth.
Oh, I thought we would have to choose something to say. My words are soft. Whether he heard or not, the look on my face is enough to garner attention. His eyebrows shoot up in surprise. Oh, close up. Oh snap, are they gonna kiss? Is it gonna happen? Oh my god. He walks over to me slowly, concerned.
Kika, what is troubling you?
I don't have the answers to what you are wondering. Who are we meant to protect? Everyone we can? Whoever we're told to serve and no one else? Just ourselves? Should we only try to protect others when the risk is minimal? I have no idea what the right option is.
Bemelle's confusion only mounts with my words.
I am sorry for disappointing you.
Man, they got so heavy about this.
No, you haven't disappointed me in any way. I never should have expected someone else to give me answers to those kinds of questions.
Yeah, Louisa, it looks like you might be in time. I don't know if it's gonna happen right now, but they're definitely all close about it.
It is only... I did not think that...
He does not finish his thought, but I know what he meant to say.
You did not think I was concerned with these issues?
He smiles awkwardly over being caught.
Yes. You never seemed to be bothered by anything we experienced before now.
With his words, my carefully held resolve crumbles. In an instant, my cheeks are wet, with hot fluid cooling in the chill air as it slips down my face.
I have always cared. I've always been afraid and confused, but I have kept up a...
I stop and gasp for air, my throat almost as tight as when we were running on the bridges. Looks like all this time she's been holding back, and now she's finally letting it out. Right in front of her bae. Aww, that's so cute.
farce of strength in order to get by.
I breathed deeply with relief, terrified and lightheaded from my confession. What's troubling you? She says. I'm sorry, I've been infected with thirst, and it's becoming too much to bear. Can you help me? Oh my god, Justin, please. Bemelle's voice is as delicate as flower petals.
I had no idea. How could I not have noticed?
Because I did whatever I could to make sure no one did. I have never wished to appear weak in front of others. But the truth is, I barely get through each day. I often feel overwhelmed with sadness at all that we have experienced.
Bemelle gently places his hands on my shoulders as I try not to sob wildly.
Kika, I truly apologize for all the thoughtless things I have said to you.
Well, it's funny because they said he put his hands on her shoulders, but all I keep seeing is him with his hand on her shoulder. I mean, on his own shoulder. What am I talking about? Calm down, Nightbot. It's fine. I shake my head, sniffling.
There is no need for you to apologize.
Yes, Louisa, we are Kika. He smiles, the warmth almost enough to make me forget the damp.
I beg to differ. I have failed to treat you right.
You have always been respectful.
A person needs more than respect from their comrades. They also need support. I have never given you that kind of consideration because I believed someone like you did not need it.
The same could be said for me.
Nonsense. You have listened to my rambling on more occasions than I can remember. Though I admit my memories may not be there due to being drunk many of those times.
Bruh, you have a drinking problem. Bemelle laughs at himself while glancing in my direction to encourage me to do the same. Oh, he's trying to cheer her up. They're so cute. I mean, I'm curious. I would definitely play this game again just to see what's the differences when you're pursuing Margaret and when you... I think you can romance even the guide, who I think I would not even bother. And the redhead guy. So... I just want to see how she interacts with different people. I mean, it feels like Bemelle is like the canon choice because they already have this connection, you know? But yeah, I think they're cute. Yeah, I've already incorporated the Bay. I'm just saying it all the time. I'm like, it's just easier. I swear to drunk I'm not God. Really, Justin. His comforting words make me smile, and I feel my tears finally cease to fall. Then I will continue to support you. This is like if you don't want to romance him, but of course we do, right? Oh, he's blushing again. They're so cute. He grins wider than he has since we began this horrible journey.
You have my thanks.
And you have mine.
Abruptly, his expression becomes serious once more.
I will come to answer these questions someday. But no matter what I decide, I will still put trust in your judgment.
I fear I may not live up to the belief he seems to have in me, but I nod firmly. He returns my nod.
Perhaps we should go check how everything is on the island.
What? No kiss? No! I'm so disappointed. Is her voice kind of muffled? Yeah, the way she speaks is very monotone, so it's probably very quiet compared to his. Let me see. I could make the voices louder, so hopefully that will help. I know, we've been robbed, right? I thought it was gonna happen right there. That was the perfect timing. No, you know when they're gonna freaking do it? At the end of the game, after we survived, or right before the final battle or whatever. That's when they're gonna do it. In the worst timing compared to like right now when everything's calm and peaceful. Fine, be that way, game.
That sounds like an excellent idea. And I will accompany you, of course.
Glad to hear it.
Together, we walk back towards the interior of the island. Both our moods lift as we stay side by side. Justin, this ain't no first date, okay? These people have been friends and I guess kind of co-workers, working side by side for I think years at least. They have history. They could afford to skip the whole, oh, this is our first time actually being like romantically interested, so let's just kiss. That makes sense, okay? Now, if it was with Margaret, it'd be like, well, we just met, so kissing right now doesn't make sense. I can't believe Justin is a kiss shamee. Oh, kiss shamer, yeah. Bemelle and I head through the wooded part of the island. There isn't anything that could be called a path, but we manage to pick our way through the bush quite well. Through a thinner strand of trees, we briefly catch sight of the guide, standing on one of the beaches. He seems fine, but even though I'm sure he turned his head toward me, he makes no show of acknowledging us. Continuing on, Bemelle and I cross the island in search of Margaret. Out of nowhere, a shudder runs down my spine, and I barely stop myself from checking behind me. Darkness flickers through my mind, and I hold my breath. Okay, I'm ready. We about to have quick time? A pat on my back brings me back into the light, a reminder that I am not alone. I look up to see Bemelle, his touch more comforting than words could be. Suddenly, I know I do not need to hide my emotions. You'd like to do the guide route, but only because you want to know what's going on with him? That's true. He's very mysterious, so I wonder if he would change completely once we get to know him, or if he'd be kind of a dick the whole time. There's no reason to act as though nothing is wrong when it is. Bemelle already knows. I have hidden my emotions for so long that it is still my first instinct, but somehow I sense an assurance from him. Bemelle will be there to remind me that it is okay and to support me when I feel I might break from the weight of our experiences. I give Bemelle a hesitant glance. He notices and returns my gaze, staring into my eyes. I feel the words spill out from my mouth before I realize what I'm saying.
Would you like to take a walk with me?
Wait, what? Didn't we just have a romantic moment? We're gonna have another one? I mean, I really thought something scary was gonna happen with the music and how tense she got. I guess that was a red herring. Oh, hey, Smoggy Poo, you been lurking, huh? I told them we were recording earlier. Oh, I didn't tell them how crazy I was earlier when we were recording. Guys, poor Smog. I put him through a lot. When we were recording, I don't know what happened. I got really hyper and I was like insane. It was really funny. I don't know. I think I was just trying to be funny, but then it kind of like I really got hyper. That's why I don't need to drink, because it just happens on its own. We've been walking together this whole time. I know, right? Game, what the heck? I take a moment to part some brush out of my path before explaining myself.
We could pass around the edges of the forest where there's less in the way. There doesn't need to be a purpose to the walk. It only needs to be a way to spend time together. I would prefer that to not doing anything.
Okay, I thought we were looking for Margaret, but okay. They're like, so what about our OT3? We'll go back to being an OTP. Oh! You waiting for your cheesy pull-apart bread to cook? Yum.
I would be delighted to accompany you, Kika.
I'm gladdened by his response, though it only makes me feel all the sillier for suggesting it.
Perhaps it may be better not to, after all. We'll be walking all throughout the night.
I know, Coco, I'm sad too. I wanted the OT3 so bad. It was cute, you know? I thought they all suited each other.
I believe I've spent quite enough time resting. If I'm being honest, I think I need a break from all this waiting around.
You make it sound like we've just been standing staring at the frickin', I don't know, at the sky. We've been talking and walking this whole time. My lips curl into a smile.
All right. We'll do that then.
Oh, I'd like to invite Margaret. After we speak to Margaret.
Of course. That's our first priority.
I mean, if I invited Margaret, I think that would have been more like for her path. Of course, I would love to invite Margaret to our threesome, but I know the game didn't mean it that way. I'm so salty right now. You thought that was a woman? Well, he is a very handsome woman. Don't assume your gender. No, I'm just kidding.
Thank you, Bemelle.
Bemelle moves a little closer to me.
I'm happy to.
No, nothing will ever, ever make me saltier than I am right now with V3. Although, I guess sometimes when I play DBD, that comes pretty close. You can Google it if you want, but I seriously doubt it. I'm not sure if we'll be of much help, but there is no way I'm leaving Margaret all alone here for longer. She may want someone to talk to. It takes longer than I had hoped to track through the brambles, but we find her in decent enough time. Never forget. Margaret, begrudging, lifts her head as we approach, enabling me to see that her face is damp and tear-stained, while her eyes are red and puffy. She's been crying. I shift uncomfortably on my feet. There is one game in the works that you think will have a poly route? Ooh, let me know. Currently going through Binks' playlist and liking and watching every video. I appreciate that, Smog, but you're not really watching them, you silly. Oh wait, that reminds you, what about Seduce You 2? Okay, Seduce Me 2, I think I said it in the last episode that I recorded. It's on hiatus right now. It's on break because I already have 3 games going on at the moment because I started V3. So I decided once I'm done with Trials and Tribulations, I will get back to Seduce Me 2 so that I can pursue the Diana route. And then once I'm done with Seduce Me 2, I will either start another game or I will just stick with the 2 Danganronpa games for a while, because I have a feeling I might start work by then. Hopefully. So yeah, Caramel Mochaccino, you think it's called? I almost saw that as Super Seducer 2. No. No, no, no. No Super Seducer game. No. Yay, Diana! I think Super Seducer is some kind of stupid male chauvinistic game or something. I don't know. I'm just guessing based on the name. I could be wrong. Okay, she's been crying. I shift uncomfortably on my feet.
Is something the matter?
If you do decide to do another play, Transistor. Yes, I've been thinking and trying to decide when I'm going to start that game as well. I could do a Let's Play for that, I guess. I was thinking of streaming it, but I already have a few games on my list to do for streaming, so yeah, I'll think about it. A really gross game about how to pick up girls. Oh, okay. Like Honey Pop. There's at least one game called that. Margaret releases a humorless laugh. Are we finally gonna hear why she's doing this dangerous thing, crossing these bridges?
I take it the guards are doing their rounds.
Bemelle and I each steal a glance at one another. Bemelle lightly chuckles.
It seems we are. Old habits die hard.
Well, that's nice.
She speaks somewhat curtly, but at least she no longer seems as depressed.
I'm happy to report that everything's in order on this front.
Good to hear that.
Margaret isn't saying what's actually on her mind, but I have no way to reach her.
Is that everything?
Oh, I see. So she won't open up to us because we're not on her romantic route. That's fine. You keep your secrets. I'll find out eventually. Sorry. Bemelle scratches his chin.
We can leave you for now if that's what you'd like. Wouldn't want to be a nuisance.
That would be most appreciated. I'd like to have a little time to myself before we return back out there.
Out there.
We'll be around if anything comes up.
Thank you for that and for stopping by.
I smile at her. Bemelle gives a wave.
Be well.
Goodbye.
The two of us leave Margaret, as per her request. I swallow thickly as we go. I can only hope that Margaret will be able to sort through her thoughts before it is too late. That's a shame. No OT3, so we didn't get to bond with her. Bemelle lightly squeezes my hand, garnering my attention. Ooh, they're so cute. Yeah, without glasses, I mean, Coco, you wear glasses, so you understand and I understand. Without glasses, it's like, shoot. You get a headache, your eyes hurt, and depending on how bad your eyesight is, I mean, you're practically blind. I know without my glasses, I could not function at all.
So, would you still be interested in our little stroll?
Alright, Mr. Charming. How long are you going to keep your hand on your shoulder, by the way?
Yes, that would be nice.
Bemelle beams at me.
We best be heading out then.
Bemelle pointedly tightens his grip on my hand, despite already holding my attention. Did you guys even eat? Or are you about to eat? Because you guys mentioned food earlier. Wait. Oh, he pointedly tightens his grip on her hand. Despite already holding her attention, I return his squeeze. A bashful expression washes over him, though it's not enough to make him let go. Oh, they're so cute, like little kids. You got that 2020? You are very lucky. Yeah, the scenarios are pretty creepy. Very creepy. It's definitely more creepy than scary, per se. Yes. Hear the music change? Are you gonna kiss now? We reach the edge where the shore meets the forest and trek along it. Didn't the guide say not to do that? You have to be careful, man. Bemelle makes small talk on just about anything and everything. It reminds me of our journey before we reached the lake. The more I dwell on it, though, the more I realize how drastically things have changed in a matter of days. Bemelle's discourse forms a mirror from one time to another in my mind, casting all that has changed in glaring... excuse me. In glaring silver. That was weird. He swings our hands back and forth slightly as he continues to lead the conversation, trying not to let me become too absorbed in my troubled musings. After winding our way around a large stretch of the island, a massively overgrown tree intersects our path. I move to push the offending branches out of the way, but Bemelle stops me.
Please, let me handle this.
Oh yes, you're the big strong man. Go ahead and handle it. Seriously. Well, then again, I'm not gonna say like it's being sexist, because Kika is a warrior. She's like, that whole conversation earlier, her learning to be emotional and let down her guard and let him help her. I think it's important that she lets him play that role sometimes, because maybe that makes her feel good, you know? I don't think there's anything wrong with that if she's okay with it. Now, if he does that constantly and she starts to feel like, come on, man, you won't let me do what I want to do, that's different. But, I don't know. He seems pretty cool, so I don't think he meant any harm by it. I let my arm fall as I watch him. Oh, use your sword, yes. Take out that sword, boo. Nice and long, ain't it? I'm sorry. I'm being bad. I'm sorry. I apologize. Bemelle unsheathes his sword and chops the branches down with a single blow. Oh, okay. OBS decided to drop some frames right when I was making those inappropriate jokes. I will stop. I will stop. OBS is punishing me. Okay. He releases a hearty laugh and I grin at him. The sheer audacity of the action enabling me to ignore his sword misuse.
It's been far too long since I've taken it out.
Oh my god.
At this rate, I'll forget how to even use a sword before we arrive.
I'm sorry, just the first half of that sentence. The game is playing along with me, alright? It's not in my head. It's been far too long since I've taken it out. Oh yeah. Game, please. Bemelle. Don't take that out in public. What are you doing? Okay, I'll stop. I'll stop. He's funny.
I see.
That's what she's just like, I'm so impressed, Bemelle. So impressed, yes. Oh, nice. She's like, ha! Look at what I've got here. I unsheath my own sword and level the honed edge at him. There's a word in my head that I can't say, but this girl has her own sword. Good for her. Okay, I'm not gonna go down the hentai path right now. Whew. Yes. Anyway, let's continue.
Would you be up for a bout of sparring?
There you go. There you go, Kika. You show him who's boss. Whips everyone. Sign. He doesn't miss a beat.
I'll accept that.
I step onto the sand to give us a little space, and Bemelle eagerly trails behind me. Oh, I know you thirsty boy. I know. Let's do it. I mean, spar. Oh, that's a nice image. Once we find our footings, Bemelle assumes a defensive stance, center turned away from me, and sword drawn in front of his body. I do the same as I circle him swiftly, being sure to stay just out of his striking distance as I watch for the slightest tell of an opening. Is he not wearing pants? I'm sure he is, but Oh, I was laughing at you whipping everyone, son. Whenever he attempts to put some space between us, I dart in towards his back, forcing him to stay mostly in place to defend. It takes 3 sharp jabs before what I was hoping for happens. As he turns to face me, one of his feet lands slightly out of place in the loose sand, and I take my opening, striking immediately. Ooh. Bemelle regains his balance just before I make contact though, parrying and using his heavier frame to force me back a few steps, even as I jump out from the sword block. Hoping to catch me off balance from his push, he strikes, but I weave out of the way. Bemelle has more strength and a larger striking distance than I do, so I've learned to capitalize on my higher agility and smaller hit zone when facing him, even if I usually... Oh my god, I thought I heard the mouse. I was about to scream. Even if I usually prefer a more grounded strategy. We trade blows, neither of us ever scoring a hit, but both keeping each other on edge. For a little while, time flows past us easily, and there is nothing that matters but avoiding an attack that will never be lethal, grinning as our steel clashes. Noticing my labored breathing, I call off the fight. Oh,
Stop. We can't exert all our energy here.
yeah, y'all, worked up a sweat. You should go take a bath. The whips only empower Justin, yeah. Bemelle releases a winded chuckle.
Thank God there's at least one of us responsible enough to point that out.
I smile and return my sword to its hilt. Coco, did you just try to whip yourself? What? Bemelle does likewise and glances over at me.
Would it perhaps be all right to at least finish our stroll before sitting back down again?
Okay, go ahead, keep strolling.
We shouldn't go the entire length of the island, but I suppose we can walk just a little longer.
It's a deal.
Walk closer to Bemelle. Ooh! I hear that little wind chime. I allow myself to drift closer to Bemelle. There's not too much space between us as we walk side by side. Bemelle views me from the corner of his eye and looks more than pleased. For a brief moment, ooh, comfort. We got an achievement. For a brief moment, all of the troublesome circumstances seem to float away from our minds, and we enjoy each other's company. Can you feel the love tonight? Yeah, good song. Go ahead, come closer. Come a little bit closer to me. I wish it could go on for so much longer, but it's only a while later that I have to speak up.
We really should rest before nightfall.
I'm fine with that idea.
Come on. Bemelle leads us over to the area where the guide mentioned. I don't think they're gonna kiss, you guys. Where the guide mentioned we were going to meet. He lowers himself down onto the ground and stretches out right there, presumably intending to wait until the guide arrives. That's a little more dramatic of resting than I planned. I walk over and make myself comfortable next to him, though not as comfortable as he has made himself. It isn't very long until Margaret appears. She doesn't comment on our resting positions. However, she's clearly smirking about it. She's like, I'll see y'all getting closer, but you didn't make it to first base now, did you?
Hello, Margaret.
Are you still holding up fine?
I would rather speak of anything other than that.
I think we can manage that.
Let's start some negotiations for an OT3. The three of us quietly wait for the guide's arrival, occasionally chatting with one another as we rest. Oh, the sun is setting. The sky turns orange as sunset comes upon us. As the color seems to drain from the world, being consumed by the fog, the guide makes his appearance.
It's almost time.
Here we go. I nod and feel myself grow tense. We truly are about to return to those bridges. All of us wait in an uncomfortable silence until night falls. We silently stand as one, forming a vigil of sorts. Our remaining lanterns illuminate the dark, prepared for tonight's journey. And yet, the way forward does not appear. The bridges haven't risen from the depths. So I think Coco did ask me that, and I wish I had remembered. That way I could have answered. But it does seem to be the case that the bridges only, magically rise from the lake at nighttime? Huh. That's interesting. I glance to my side. The guide doesn't look at all pleased. The corners of his mouth have a harsh bend, I think they meant, as he briefly loses himself to heavy thoughts.
We must go to the shore.
He doesn't offer an explanation for why. Instead, he goes on without us. Excuse me. Jeez. I follow after the guide, my forehead creasing with swelling worry. Behind me, I hear Bemelle's and Margaret's unsure footsteps. The four of us press onto the shore. That's dangerous. The dark waters lap at the edges of the sand, and, as expected, the maze is still hidden beneath the surface. Oh dear. The guide grips his staff tighter still, his knuckles turning ghostly white. He sucks in a breath of air like he is about to speak, but he hesitates. We all stare at him expectantly. After a moment more, the guide is fed up with waiting.
The bridges are late. If they don't arrive as soon as darkness falls, there's no telling exactly how long it will be before they do.
Oh dear. Bemelle's face immediately sours, and he isn't able to stay silent about his feelings. It's not like the guide's fault in this case.
So we're going to waste our time standing idly by. There's hardly enough time to make the trip as it is.
Bemelle, please.
Complaining won't make these bridges come any sooner, though I sympathize with your frustrations. The wait had already been tense as it was. Not knowing how much longer it will last makes it that much more dreadful.
Time is by far the least of our worries. On the bridges we are constantly moving, which makes it easier to avoid the prowlers. However, this island does not offer that luxury. We're trapped here.
Oh shoot. My body goes rigid as his words sink in.
More importantly, the bridges are raised above the waters. Nixie have difficulties pulling themselves up onto the bridges. The soft sloping of the shore will allow far more prowlers to drag themselves towards us.
Oh shoot, we're screwed.
Not all will be as dangerous as the ones we've encountered thus far. However, we could easily be overwhelmed.
Oh no. A pit forms deep in my stomach. I stare at him aghast. I had no idea the situation was that dire. I glance from the waterline to the trees. What I'm looking for, I don't know. A sign of what might be to come, perhaps.
I wonder if those fires had anything to do with this.
Bemelle's words are biting as he wonders aloud. The guide answers Bemelle firmly, wanting to put an end to his speculation.
No. Whatever magic controlling the bridges is inconsistent. Humans haven't found a way to impact it. We can only do temporary physical damage to the boards.
That's interesting. Bemelle is still displeased. Margaret moves into discussion. Her mood is rapidly declining as well.
Then what should we do? We shouldn't stay on the shore if the monsters could be coming towards us at any moment.
The guide closes his eyes and suddenly looks very worn down.
Staying in the center of the island is the safest option. However, there's the risk that we may not be able to reach the bridges when they do rise. Prowlers could have taken full control of the shore by then.
Oh dear, am I gonna have to make a decision? Oh shoot, I don't know.
Remaining here with our lanterns will ensure the prowlers cannot move freely.
My brows involuntarily knit together. I don't like the sound of taking additional risks in an area that is already so dangerous. But our options are thin.
I will not be kept on this island for another day, so the shore is where I will be. You may wait at the edge of the forest, or even at the center of the island if you fear being attacked. If the prowlers come between us and you fail to make it to the bridges, I will leave you behind.
Better stay. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I'm not gonna go to the center where you could be surrounded and then you would have a hard time getting back. And he, like he just said, he'll just leave us behind because you know he's a jerk like that. Bemelle spits hatefully under his breath. Welcome back, Justin. We're in a pickle.
Of course you would.
True, generosity is not something I would expect from the guide, but that is not the conversation we need to have at this moment. The guide has made his decision, and we must make ours. This is stressful. I don't know. I mean, I know what I want to do, but I'm so scared.
If you were staying by the shore, perhaps I could be positioned somewhat further back from you. and then the others could stay further back still. That would keep us safer, without having any major gaps of darkness between us and the shore.
Oh, she made the decision for me?
Good suggestion, Kika.
I'd say that's likely our best option, and we don't have time to come up with any other way regardless.
Settled on the matter, the three of us begin to move away from the guide. He pays little attention to us, instead silently fixing his eyes on the water. I take my place in the middle of the shore, while Bemelle and Margaret hover closer to the island's core on the line between dirt and sand. After getting a sense of where they are, I turn my gaze ahead. Ooh, that's them. At first, I think I'm being fooled by the fog. There are several white dots playing along the edges of the water. Dark globes begin to surface, and I see them for what they are: eyes. So many white, dribbling eyes, gleaming sharply against their pitch-black bodies as the Nixie bob up and down. They surface and disappear in a loop, each time more sets of eyes and closer, surveying us more intently. Then they cackle. The sound is atrocious, gurgling, then turning high-pitched as they seem to take full stock of us. Uh-oh. The lights in their eyes somehow seem brighter as the first of the Nixie dig their claws into the sand and begin dragging themselves upon the shore. I plant my feet firmer. Ooh, I'm scared. Not scared, but like uneasy, I guess. A shrill shriek pierces the air, accompanied by a telltale hiss. I whip my head backwards, towards the sound, only to be greeted by cold black darkness. I cry out desperately into the void where Margaret and Bemelle stood.
What happened?
There's silence, then the best possible sound. Margaret's voice replies, albeit shakily.
There was a prowler in the woods. I didn't notice it until it was already too close to me. I dropped my lantern when I saw it. The light was enough to drive it away, but now it's gone. Shattered.
Oh no, that's bad. I swerve my head back to make sure the shore is still clear before I sprint over to release them from the darkness with my own light. Margaret stares down at the ground dejectedly when I arrive. Bemelle has his hand placed on her shoulder.
I didn't see the thing either. The monster blended in far too well with the dark, crooked trees of this place.
Wow, that's not good. He gives me a sad smile as I approach the two closer.
We can make a small fire for light.
Margaret sniffles loudly.
That may work for now, but what will we do once we're back on the bridges?
Yeah, we're down to only 2 lights. The guide's and mine.
We will manage.
I speak firmly, trying to assure her. I can't even guess how effective the attempt was. Ooh, scared me, the sound. Bemelle begins to gather dry twigs, stones, and grass to craft a fire with. Margaret moves to help him, though she still looks terribly upset. I feel awful. It wasn't her fault. Okay, keep saving. This is so intense. We dig a few inches down in the sandy soil before making an edging with the rocks to stop the fire from giving us a repeat of last night. I layer the fuel quickly and light a match at the base of the pit. Yeah, it's really good we didn't go to the center. I'm surprised we didn't have a decision there, but that's fine with me. Margaret stokes the fire with Bemelle feeding in twigs. The grass ignites easily and showers the area with enough light to keep anything else that may be lurking in the forest at bay. I release a discreet sigh. We're truly lucky no one was injured or lost during this ordeal. I keep that thought to myself, however. Hearing it would only make Margaret feel worse.
You should go back to your position, Kika. It will all be for nothing if we can't make it onto the bridges in the first place.
Yeah.
Right.
I force myself to sound bold.
We're going to get through this.
Margaret attempts to smile at me, and Bemelle waves as I cautiously back up to my original position. I return my full focus to the shore. As we feared, this is becoming a pressing situation. More prowlers rose from the waters while my attention was on those two. They've surrounded the guide on both sides. Oh dear. The only way to gain distance from them would be to delve further into the island, yet the guide shows no signs of giving up his position. So I guess he has it handled? He knows what he's doing? He remains where he is, resolving to keep all the monsters near him in his sight. This is really terrible. Like, I always hated in movies where you have like a creature or a villain that you can't harm them. Nothing you do works. And that's what's so scary, you know? Like even though I don't find like Michael Myers that scary per se, the fact that nothing you do works makes you feel helpless. And that's what's horrifying about this. Even with the whole light thing, it doesn't hurt them. I grow more unnerved the longer I watch this. The guide seems impervious to the dangers of Sinlos. This is the first case where I can't tell whether he will continue to be fine as always or not. It's a distressing notion. As they creep ever closer, I can't stay silent any longer.
Your safety is most important. Consider retreating.
He doesn't face me, but replies,
I cannot do that. Nixie recognized signs of weakness. Backing away will only increase the odds of them attacking.
Jeez. I grip my lantern tighter as I swallow hard. What can I do? As if to answer my own question, a thought whispers into my mind and I look down at the lantern in my hand. I could throw it. What? Why would you give up? No! As long as I don't let it go too far down the shore, it doesn't seem plausible that a Nyx could take it. I think she meant Nixie. But if I do lose the lantern, especially after Margaret lost hers only moments ago, then... Just watch. I'm not throwing the lantern! He seems to have his... He seems to know what he's doing, alright? Let's just trust him. If he needed my help, he would have said something. Shoot, I'm not gonna just throw it. I can't act rashly here. The guide has managed through every situation we've been through, as well as countless others we did not bear witness to. I resolved to continue with what we've planned and keep my position. There's no way in hell I was gonna give up my lantern. Maybe if you were on the romantic path with him, you were supposed to do that to win him over? I don't know. Without flinching, the guide keeps hold of our position on the waterline. I periodically switch between watching him, the others, and the rest of the shore. As I scan the forest, there's a stinging groan. Was that the guide? It can't be. Oh no. I stand rigid in shock, a painful, prickling sensation going down my back before whipping around to face the truth. Oh shoot. He's crouched low on the ground, staring forcefully at a group of Nixie head-on. Man, he's bold. There is a whole other group of monsters rapidly crawling back into the water. Why?
Hey!
I step forward with a shout, but he puts out one hand to halt me. I do not go further. See, he told me to stay back, so he must know what he's doing. I and those creatures motionlessly watch for what he will do. His fingers curl tightly around the upper half of his staff. With great effort, he begins to rise to his unstable feet. Did he get hurt then? I guess? The moment he is fully upright, the guide aggressively swings his lantern at the encroaching Nixie. He catches them completely off guard, and they scatter to rejoin the rest in the black depths. The guide crumples back into the sand unceremoniously. I can hear his ragged breaths as he regains his composure. Oh, I guess he did get hurt. Maybe they swiped at him? He tugs at one side of his cloak, bringing it closer around himself. He covers up a dark, growing stain creeping through his right pant leg. Even while collapsed, he seems compelled to hide his fragility. Is that admirable or saddening? I do not know anymore. Well, he made it through. I mean, maybe we could have avoided him getting hurt at all, but I didn't want to give up my lantern, you know? The guide roughly pulls himself back onto his feet and forces himself to remain standing. The rest of us must remain strong as well if we are to survive this night. This is intense, man. Gripping my lantern, I watch over everything and everyone in sight vigilantly. After an untold period of time, wow, I wonder why it took so long for the bridges to rise. That's kind of suspicious, right? There's an unusual gurgling, a sound I never thought I would be this relieved to hear. Slowly, creakily, the bridges make their nightly appearance. Sinlos is an overwhelmingly cruel environment. This island had felt like a safe haven such a short time ago, but that has been twisted to the point where I am grateful for a chance to return to the maze, and we may not even reach that. More Nixie are breaching the water and wrenching themselves onto the sand. The guide signals to all of us.
We have to leave.
Okay. Thanks to his position on the shore, the guide is able to board the bridges without confrontation. For the rest of us, however, the Nixie begin to crowd the opening. It appears they want to get on themselves. We have desperately little time before we'll be cut off from the guide. I look to my lantern. Will this light alone be enough to cause them to disperse?
Come on!
Margaret's shout cuts straight through my thoughts. Oh, there you go. There you go! A makeshift torch? That's all you gotta do. I know it won't last long, but that's better than nothing. She's advancing towards me, holding onto a heavy stick with the end set on fire as a makeshift torch. The sight is striking. You go, girl.
It won't last long! We need to get through now!
She needs not say any more. The three of us push our way forward. As we advance, Margaret relays her plan.
We'll toss the branch when we get close. The smoke spewing off this thing is making it even harder to see than usual. So you tell me when it's time, Kika.
Oh shoot, okay. Okay, I'm ready.
I can do that.
I know she's already practically blind too. The shore approaches closer and closer, and every single one of the Nixie turn their attention towards our small group. Now, after alerting Margaret, she gives her all to hurl the flame ahead of us, while avoiding setting the bridge itself on fire. The monsters flee from the torch. A path is clear. We waste not one moment sprinting towards the bridges. With the others near my side, I amble back into the maze. We don't stop until there is a considerable distance between us and the shore. It is there that we encounter the guide. Upon seeing his figure, I hide a sigh of relief. We haven't been left behind. I don't think he even could at this point if he's injured. Maybe that's a good thing. Otherwise, that jerk, he would just run away, leaving us, you know? Our arrival doesn't change the guide's empty expression. He doesn't say or do anything, instead allowing all of us to catch our breath. Bemelle starts to laugh incredulously through uneven breaths.
Such recklessness. I can hardly believe it worked.
Margaret chimes in, equally as amazed and exhausted.
I don't know how we managed to do nothing wrong. That feels far more fitting for this journey.
Yeah, that was awesome. We did a good job. Welp, he's gotta survive. Yeah.
Yes, you could have burnt your fingertips off. Or perhaps the bridges could have gone up in flames.
Margaret looks at him curiously. Bemelle gives her a wink. See? They're so flirty, those two. I wonder if, like, okay, I'm kind of curious. If I was to pursue the redhead or the guide, would Margaret and Bemelle kind of, you know, like hook up with each other? I'm just wondering, because they have some chemistry too, like that little bickering that they do and all that. I mean, yes, I'm all for OT3. But if OT3 doesn't happen, then maybe they could get together, you know? I think that might work out. That's interesting.
That would have been the outcome if I was handling the torch, you think?
Let's play Cupid. Yeah. Margaret's lips quirk into a smirk.
Yes.
See, they're cute. They are so adorable. Oh my god, I ship OT3. And Binks went to her grave, shouting to the heavens, OT3! I will always, always. Like, okay, maybe 99% of the time, whenever I see a love triangle, 99% of the time, if I like all three of the characters, I will 100% be like, OT3! Forget love triangles. It should be OT3! I already did, and it was a great visual novel. Cupid? I gotta look into that. That's another one I can play. There aren't many games with polyamorous. Yeah. OT3 is much better than Triangle. Totes adorbs. Is that what the youngins are saying nowadays? I don't know, Justin. You tell me, you young child, you. Aren't you like 20? It's free? Okay. I'll look into that for sure. Cupid. We treasure the moment of triumph for a little more before the guide ends his silence.
We need to start walking. We've already lost much time as it is.
Almost as soon as he finishes his statement, he stumbles, nearly falling back down. His hands slip down the shaft of his staff as he sinks to the ground. He gasps under his breath. Oh, he's hurt. And yet I don't feel that bad. Because he's a jerk. You think it's your favorite visual novel? Though the house in Fata Morgana's giving it a run for its money, huh? You'll be 21 on the 23rd. Ooh! You're still a baby. Justin is a whippersnapper.
Are you alright? Is there anything we can do? I don't have much, but I could still clean and wrap it.
I take a few hurried steps closer. I reach my hands out towards him, which he curls away from like a barn cat. Okay, fine, be that way. Go ahead and die for all I care. After you get us safely across. You can die then, okay? Okay, thanks. I really don't care for him. He turns his gaze up to me and shakes his head. His birthday's near Halloween. That explains a lot.
I tended to it myself when you were still on the shore.
Oh, okay. Moments tick by as I stare at him, growing ever more nervous. As horrible as his injury is, the larger situation at play is dire for all. It is a weight bearing down on each of us, threatening to bring the entire group to its knees rather than only our lead. We can't stay here.
Are you able to walk?
He eyes his feet with gritted teeth and clenches his staff tighter. Oh my gosh, Justin, no! No drinking, no!
Not like this.
Oh dear. Somebody's got to carry him. Bemelle, you're up, buddy. A beat of quiet passes before he continues, his voice slightly ragged.
I have a way. It will be enough to get to the other side.
What do you mean? Do you have roller skates? What? What? Shaking, he removes a hand from his staff and reaches into his cloak, searching for something. I have little other choice but to watch as he searches his pockets. The panic that we thought was past starts creeping back in. He retrieves a small vial with a viscous liquid inside, swishing it slightly as he holds it up. I peer at it curiously. Are you gonna turn into one of those things temporarily? Or is it like a painkiller?
Drinking this will numb the pain.
Okay, yeah.
I'll be able to ignore that my leg is injured for the time being.
Yeah. Boring option, but you gotta do what you gotta do, man. I analyze the vial hesitantly. I'm pensive as I mull over the possible other effects it could have. Something that potent would be a miracle drug if there were no downsides along with the positives. He might become drowsy. You know? I don't know.
Is that safe?
Yeah.
It must cause drowsiness or have some kind of impact on you. Not to mention, pushing your leg so hard when it's in that state could permanently ruin it.
regards me as his lip twists part way into a snarl.
My leg isn't broken. It will heal without issue once I'm able to treat it. In order for that to happen, however, I need to live.
I flinch slightly. He wouldn't usually snap at such a question. The pain must be truly getting to him.
What about side effects? You didn't say what they were.
Bemelle steps in closer to the guide, his question harsh enough to be a demand. Bemelle's trust in the guide has steadily declined since the first night. With the way he's acting, I cannot ignore the sense that it may come to a head before the journey is over. Uh-oh, they gonna fight? The guide levels a deeply unimpressed look at Bemelle. He then sighs, raising the bottle up so that it's more visible. He swishes it almost impatiently.
It can slow reflexes and cloud the mind.
See, that's not good. We can't afford to have your reflexes slow. What if, an attack happens and you don't react in time? And what if you forget the way because your mind is cloudy? Immediately, Bemelle's eyes widen incredulously. Margaret quietly gasps, bringing a hand to her mouth. The guide heaves another sigh, though the pain in it makes it sound more akin to a groan. He is still impatient with the group's delays as the time marches on.
I will only be taking half a dose. It won't ease all of the pain. However, it will reduce the odds that I will be notably impacted by any adverse effects.
Oh, I'm still concerned, bruh.
I know how you feel about others coming close to you, but is that truly the best solution to a situation like this? You need to be clear-headed here.
Yeah, I think he should let Bemelle carry him. On his back. Margaret looks at the bottle, and then at him skeptically. Bemelle takes another heavy step forward. He meets the guide's eyes stonily.
No, you can't drink something like that. I'll carry you.
There you go. Bemelle presses forward, encroaching on the guide's personal space. The guide visibly shrinks back again. However, he can't hobble much farther away due to his injured leg. OTP4? No. The guide is not allowed, okay? The guide is not... No. The guide... No. If he was nicer, maybe. Maybe we'd let him in. But no, he gotta be a douche. Is only OT3 allowed? In this case. I mean, I'm okay with OT4 too, but not in this case because of the attitude of the guide. Oh, shoot. Okay, keep it. There you go. The guide visibly shrinks back again. However, he can't hobble much further away due to his injured leg. Okay.
That won't...
Before the guide can put forth another word, Bemelle brazenly snatches the bottle straight from his hand. You go, boo. Everyone is stunned to silence by Bemelle's action. Even the guide has trouble expressing any sort of emotion beyond furious disbelief. Otree 3 wouldn't have happened without him? What? Bemelle ignores all of our reactions and smiles triumphantly, holding the bottle like a trophy. He's so adorable.
You have made it very clear that at the first inconvenience, you would leave us all for dead in the water. As you are now, that is impossible.
Bemelle is like, yes, I finally got to one-up him. The guide narrows his eyes at Bemelle, who only gives him a taunting grin.
So, this isn't about any possible adverse effects. You want to leave me injured and immobile on purpose.
Dude, just take the L. Bemelle shrugs, then returns to smirking, almost cockily.
If there were no side effects, I likely would have thought nothing of it. However, mentioning those risks triggered something in my mind. You've never done what's best for the group, you only choose the safe option for yourself. With that in mind, I can't exactly trust you when you tell us that the medicine is truly our one option. Now, even if carrying you means that you will be more at risk than otherwise, I'm willing to make that sacrifice.
I agree. Bemelle chuckles derisively and rolls his eyes while spinning the medicine vial between his fingers.
I hope you're proud that I'm following your advised method of not considering others, guide.
He's so... Ugh, Bemelle, you're such a bae. You are such a saucy bae. I like him. Despite Bemelle's sarcastic jab, the guide returns to his usual empty, deadpan expression and makes no attempt at rebuttal.
There, he accepts it. What of you?
Bemelle then turns to look at us curiously. Margaret snorts slightly at the inquiry.
That stunt was so ill-advised, I never expected even you to attempt something like it. What if the guide had another bottle with him? We would have all been abandoned by now.
Oh, she has a point. Bemelle pulls a mischievous smirk.
I'd have taken that bottle too.
Margaret shakes her head at his response. However, she doesn't seem too upset over this. She seems more at ease than she has been for some time. Yeah, because now we don't have to worry about this jerk running off on us. Bemelle seems rather pleased by the reactions thus far, grinning widely at us.
If anyone is worried about my ability to carry the guide for the rest of the night, you shouldn't be. Rest assured, a willowy man like the guide won't slow me down whatsoever.
He puffs his chest out proudly. Yeah, that's right. I'm a man. Margaret can't suppress the laugh that bubbles up from her chest. She waves off Bemelle's boasting with a silly grin on her face. Well, if she doesn't have any problem with it, and I don't have any problem with it, then majority rules.
You are an absolute buffoon.
Bemelle faces me expectantly. The guide also levels a steely gaze in my direction. We may be having a bit of fun getting the upper hand on the guide for a change, but if we don't go back now, we never will. Though, do we truly need to? All that matters is reaching the shore safely. What really is for the best in this situation? That could work. Bemelle's grin widens ecstatically at my lack of resistance. I feel nerves turning my insides jittery as I think over doing something so drastic. No matter the fear, this has to be done. Even if the guide can be trusted to show us the correct path, he is not reliable when it comes to anything else. If we let him do as he wishes, it's very possible that at some point during this night, he will leave us to die.
I believe you are capable of carrying the guide to the other side. That seems like the least risky option we have for the group at large.
Right. Bemelle lets out a small, triumphant laugh and tosses the vial over to me. I catch it and quickly tuck it away in my pocket. I'll return it to its rightful owner once we've made it to the shore. Bemelle steps back up to the guide's side, who still shrinks slightly beneath him. The guide narrows his eyes as Bemelle grows near.
Fret not. I will take proper care to lift you. This isn't the first time I've carried an injured traveling partner. I'll have to hoist you over my shoulder since we've still got a ways to go. I ask that you don't make too much of a fuss about it.
The guide stares at him plainly.
I'm hardly in a position to resist. You've taken away my ability to do anything but be dependent on you and your decisions.
Yep.
Even though this path was only taken because I am not someone you care for rather than true pragmatism, it is a better mindset to have on these bridges than how you've acted thus far.
Okay. Bemelle snorts out a sarcastic laugh.
Thank you for your approval.
He bends down and grabs the guide, lifting him over his shoulders. Bemelle is careful not to bump the guide's legs. He still winces in pain, clenching his staff tightly as he's jostled back and forth. However, the arrangement is quickly settled, and Bemelle is ready to begin walking with the guide in tow. Margaret has a hand over her mouth, looking like she can't decide whether to laugh or weep at the state of our journey.
I can scarcely believe that this is the solution we've come to. With the way the guide acts, though, I suppose that I shouldn't be too surprised people are willing to turn on him this way.
Continue down this bridge. We cannot remain here any longer.
Bemelle gives him a nod and starts to walk across the soggy boards as the new head of the group. We walk along the bridges together in the stillness. The guide's occasional instruction of what paths to take is the only conversation that reverbs in the night. Our steps echo throughout the bridges, and I'm more acutely aware of just how many paths there are spread across the lake than ever. Even the voices of the lake are quiet. But it's no consolation, for in their place is the otherworldly squishing sounds of the prowlers contorting their aquatic forms across the boards. It's impossible to tell exactly where they're coming from. The sound seems to echo in every direction at once. All I know is that it's too close for comfort. I do my best to ignore the feeling, but the sounds still fill me with a constant, lingering dread. We cross a long path and come across a strange sight. It's a bridge which curves in and becomes more narrow in the middle than usual. Uh-oh, I sense trouble. Eyeing the dubious bridge warily, I grow nervous at the idea of getting that close to the edge. Bemelle's pace, this she'll show him like that, okay. Pace slows before coming to a stop directly in front of the foreign way. For once, he looks to the guide for this matter. The guide appraises the bridge, looking intensely down the path ahead.
Normally, it would be possible to cross a narrow bridge if one is careful with how they step. We can't continue as we are. Our combined weight is too much.
Oh dear.
Is there another path?
This is our path.
Bemelle's eyes widen at the explanation, before gritting his teeth and speaking with a tone coated with suspicion.
So, you knew from the start we'd reach a point where putting you down was the only option.
Ah, that sucks. The guide's silence is confirmation enough for Bemelle. He knew. He was like, oh, you guys think you won? Well, we'll just see about that, you know? I don't know. I feel like now we have to let him have his way, but that sucks, man. I don't think it's worth taking the risk of having him carry him. He scoffs derisively, then purposefully strides forward, planting his feet on the mouth of the narrowed bridge. No, don't do it.
Unfortunately, that plan isn't going to work. I may not look the part, but I'm quite light on my feet. If this is our path, then prepare to cross it with me.
No, Bemelle, no. The guide still does not speak. He looks completely unfettered. Why didn't he say he should seriously say, no, don't do this? Bemelle doesn't take kindly to the guide's dismissiveness. He lifts his boot for a second time, stretching it out ahead of his body and threatening to move even further down the narrow way. Bemelle is bluffing. Even he isn't reckless enough to cross that bridge holding another person. But I can see why he'd go this far. The guide will not open up easily. I know without a doubt Bemelle will be careful, and he won't waste this opportunity to find a better way for all of us. Okay, I need to do what I can to make certain the guide doesn't call his bluff. Okay, Bemelle's not that dumb. Thank goodness. Let's save. So I have to play along.
Please, you have to try to think of another way. There are so many branches. At least one other must be able to take us to the shore. I worry the worst will occur if this continues.
The guide waits an agonizing moment more.
There is another path. It is longer, however, and prowlers are a far more common sight.
Oh, I don't like that. Guys, let's just put him down. I don't want to go longer, and I don't want to encounter more prowlers. Bemelle immediately lets out a bark of laughter. He's feeling awfully validated in this moment. It seems the guide had intended to keep information from us, if he could get away with it. I shake my head at the guide's warning. We can't allow him to move freely now, not after learning that.
It will still be more manageable than this bridge.
Margaret stares on as though she can hardly believe what's happening before her. Still, she remains quiet. Despite the guide's initial opinion, he sighs.
Go back a small ways. You will find a branch heading west. Take it.
Oh, looks like I don't get a choice. Alright. It's true that we can't really trust the guide, because he's keeping things from us, so... Alright. Looks like because I'm already, like, firmly entrenched in, Bemelle's path, like, I'm just gonna automatically agree with him for a lot of this stuff, which is fine. With a satisfied grin, Bemelle readjusts the guide on his shoulders and moves to be the head of the party again, leading the way back. We trek through where we came. Along the way, Bemelle tries to make light conversation. He's recounting the battle in which I earned my title. The guide has his focus elsewhere. It is doubtful he is hearing a word Bemelle says. Well, as long as he's paying attention, that's all that matters. Margaret seems engaged by the tale at the very least. As he ends the story, he turns to me and smiles brightly.
Because of Kika's status, she has the option to choose which missions to take rather than have to do whatever she is told. Despite that, she accepts each task assigned to her. Our entire village is awfully proud to have her.
Aw, he's like a proud boyfriend bragging about her. I smile lightly at the excessive praise Bemelle is happy to put upon me. Ooh, hold on. I see a bug. Must kill. Ah, did I kill you? No, you got away. Too fast. No!
You are always much too kind. Every guard does what's asked of them. I am no different from them, or you for that matter.
Hey, the bug got away, man. Don't say poor bug. He's one of those little black flying ones. I don't know the name or whatever, but they're annoying. Bemelle chuckles airily at my words.
If there was nothing to admire about you, then I wouldn't do so. But the more I learn of who you are, the more I know for certain that I'm right about what I say.
I feel myself fluster a bit under all the flattery. Bemelle has always had a natural camaraderie with the guards. Only now have I started to realize he has made an effort to be extra kind to me all this time. I guess it might be a gnat. Don't let a certain bug boy hear you? Which bug boy? Which bug boy are you talking about? I don't like no bugs. All bugs, no. Oh, Gonta. That's true. If I say that, Gonta will smash me. I look back at him, now spinning another riveting tale about my heroics, and am struck by how much of a thoughtful man Bemelle is. Please don't die in the end of this. I need to keep you alive. The shipping is so cute. He seems completely dedicated to making sure I'm surrounded by pleasance, even in dark times such as these. Later on our path weaving through the labyrinth of boards, Bemelle becomes uncharacteristically quiet. Uh-oh. I look over to see that his breathing is heavy. No matter how fit he is, that's a long time of carrying someone who's pretty heavy. I mean, he's not like buff, but he's heavy. Carrying the guide is starting to take its toll. I feel the urge to say something, however I bite my tongue. That would only give the guide a reason to demand his medicine, and that's a situation neither Bemelle or I want. I'm watching, as Bemelle's knees suddenly lock up, and he nearly stumbles forward. He catches himself and manages to stay on 2 feet, yet the guide starts to slip from his grasp. Bemelle tightens his grip and hoists him back up all the way onto his shoulders. The guide's face twists into a grimace at being jostled. Bemelle attempts to mask his fumble with a laugh.
I hope you aren't falling asleep up there. You've got to stay on your toes, even if you aren't walking on them. You're leading the way.
This is not good. Because now he's going to be so exhausted. I don't know if, like, we get into a bad situation, if he's going to be able to react, you know? The guide scrunches his nose in another display of pain, or perhaps it is annoyance.
Why are you so eager to die?
Oh, guide, please.
I'm not sure where you got an idea like that from. I've already explained that I'm doing this precisely so we won't die. Preventing you from leaving us to those monsters is worth a little added weight.
The guide clicks his tongue and sneers at Bemelle.
Letting me lead uninterrupted means there was a chance I could leave you behind, yes. However, that was a moderate risk compared to the enormous one you are taking right now by carrying another person. It is not you who benefited from this.
Bemelle quirks an eyebrow at the guide.
The risk was lowered then. Good to have a confirmation on that.
There's a lull in the conversation as the guide quiets. He adds one more thought, and I must assume he intends it to be his last contribution to this argument.
A heroic end isn't something to strive for. It is a waste.
Bemelle shakes his head firmly.
There have to be those who are willing to work for more than themselves. If there aren't, then it won't be possible to build something greater than just a single person.
I'm getting some death flags. Death flags, no. Oh no. I'm seeing them. Such as this whole continuing theme with Bemelle about, being more than just a soldier and helping others and being a hero. And that whole conversation he had with us earlier. And, I am concerned that Bemelle is going to die. Yeah, the guide really doesn't give a crap about us. He's such a jerk. Please don't die, Bemelle, please. I always believed that I had no choice but to look at the world like the guide. However, I begin to wonder if perhaps I don't. Pragmatism isn't the only method that holds worth. After that exchange, the mood darkens. There is a definite shift between Bemelle and the guide, though before it can escalate further, that distinct clicking noise becomes eerily apparent. I stiffen immediately and search around wildly with my eyes. Margaret also slows to listen nervously. The sound creeps down one of the branches of bridge connected to our set of boards. Despite how tired he must feel, Bemelle hastily quickens his pace. The rest of us follow. After some time, we break away from the noise of the nearest prowler. Before we can relax, that erratic clicking, squelching sound coils forth yet again from ahead of us. We'll continue to push forward. However, no matter how fast we move, or what bridges we take, we can't seem to escape the stalking sounds of these prowlers. Every so often, I turn my head to look behind us to see if there's anything. Sometimes it does seem as though a crooked shadow is following us. In others, it doesn't appear as though there's anything at all.
Go down that path.
The guide points feebly towards another branch with a hand that's even paler than usual. Bemelle nods and walks down the crossroad chosen by the guide. He has been giving directions more frequently, and Bemelle is following them without hesitation. The prowlers grow louder, and now, in addition to the squishing sounds, chattering in the lake begins to bubble up. It's beginning to feel as though we're completely surrounded. Oh no. I don't like this. I don't like this. Tensions are high, and the situation is growing hectic. Margaret becomes more frantic with each step. Bemelle is having troubles keeping collected, and I'm trying to see everywhere at once as the sounds of the Nixie rising from the lake swiftly surrounds us. Eventually, regardless of his best efforts, Bemelle has to stop to catch his breath. He inhales heavily, heaving gasp after gasp as sweat drips from his forehead.
We cannot stay here. We'll be trapped by prowlers.
Oh no. Justin, please. Through ragged breaths, Bemelle quickly quips back at the guide.
Unless you've lost the ability to give directions, that's not going to happen.
He starts to trudge on the path again with heavy, hard-hitting steps. Margaret looks at Bemelle with concern, bringing her hands towards him half-heartedly as she debates over how to help. I debate with myself over whether I should say something or not. I could help, but that might be better saved for when we're out of such a dicey situation. We don't have any time to waste here. Let's keep moving. Shoot. Oh, I don't like that. I don't know. He's not doing very well. I kind of wanted to stop and see if I could carry the guy instead. But, if we're in a bad situation and one of us has to fight, it should be me. Because right now he's too weak and tired. Oh, I hope I made the right choice. Oh, I don't know. I hate those timing ones. There are still swarms of prowlers all over the place. They stalk around us, contorting their bodies unnaturally and gurgling whenever our lights draw near. We rush across board after board, constantly swerving down new paths to avoid the stinging grasp of prowlers. Uh-oh. Our frantic pace causes Bemelle's hold to slip once more. Whether it's from the pain of being shaken or just the unexpected movement, I can't be sure. Uh-oh. However, the guide loses his grip on his lantern. It falls to the bridge. Oh, shoot. Oh, I had a feeling that was the wrong choice. Frick. That's not good. The lantern shatters upon impact, and before I have time to even shout, a mound of fire spills out of it, churning like a whirlpool. The flames lick up the sides of the bridge and crawl around the edges, leaving little wisps of embers that sprout and grow together in seconds. I'm forced to retreat from the advancing inferno. A cacophony of screams ring out across the growing pyre, trying to take hold of the bridge. I can't make out what is amongst the roar of the flames, the shrieking chorus of the Nixie, and the wood cracking. I turn to look back at Margaret. She must get past the fire to continue on with Bemelle and the guide. I hold my sleeve over my mouth in an attempt to block the billowing black smoke from pouring into my lungs further. Still, I can't help coughing as I rush to her side. The bridge begins to groan like a poltergeist beneath us. It's conspicuous, even over the cries of everything else around. I jump away from the unreliable boards, however, there is nowhere safer to go. The wood begins to splinter under the stress of the devouring blaze and my weight. Oh my god, I think we're all dead. It is hopeless. Oh no! The bridge caves in like a loose tent. I barely have time to shout before I hit the water. Cold water gushes into my mouth, silencing my voice and dousing my airways. Oh my god, we're dead. Something told me, something in that moment when I picked that choice, I was like, nope. Ah, man, we were doing so well. Ah, no. Silencing my voice and dousing my airways. My vision grows darker and darker. I can't tell whether I'm going lower or losing my consciousness. I'm engulfed in a complete void. Panic. Lake of voices. Game over. Well, rip. Oh, shoot. So, it finally happened. Man, it's so scary how just one wrong choice in the moment and you're dead. Ah, man. Thank goodness I saved right before. Okay. Let's continue. Tensions are high.
We cannot stay.
Okay.
Unless you've lost the...
Phew. So for sure I know. You gotta let me take him, bruh. Let me carry him.
Bemelle, you can hold onto my lantern and I will take the guide. I can't manage for as long as you have. However, That would be better than pushing yourself to the limit.
Right. And that's I wish I had more time and not panicked when I chose the top one. Ugh. Something told me. Oh well. Okay. I give him a withering look. Bemelle returns my gaze, clearly conflicted. After a moment, he releases a sigh. Bemelle knows that the weight of this task isn't his alone. He cracks a small smile at me. Welcome to die. Welcome to rebirth.
I would appreciate that. The two of us make for a much better pair than he and I. Does our guide agree with that assessment?
The guide gives us no answer and simply turns away. I smile awkwardly back at the both of them. Bemelle places our injured lead down. I walk closer and offer my lantern to Bemelle. He puts his hand over mine instead. It rests there, the top of a pile with myself and the lantern handle underneath momentarily. His fingers are trembling. Yeah, this bruh, he needed a break. And why are you flirting with me in this moment? It even looks like he's blushing a little. Okay, let's save... let's save in the number 1 slot, actually. After that brief gesture of affection... Wait, what about the medicine? She has it. Be right back, gotta eat. No problem, Louisa. Enjoy your meal. After that brief gesture of affection, he takes the lantern with care. He then backs up with an encouraging grin on his face. I move to the guide and nod at him.
I will help you now.
The guide doesn't resist and makes no complaints over the switch. He accepts his fate as an inevitability. Sorry. I pull on the man's lanky limbs to hoist him up onto my shoulders. The guide makes a few murmuring sounds of discomfort. That quickly passes as he settles again. I see what you mean, that he could easily grab the medicine while he's on her back. Well, she would notice, but oh well. I can see Bemelle is already breathing easier now that the load has been taken off his back.
We need to get out of here.
There is no disagreement, with each of us being likewise eager to leave this place. There are still swarms of prowlers all over. The guide points an arm over my shoulder.
Turn down that branch.
We walk at a brisk pace down a new bridge. After what feels like an endless creeping nightmare, the lake grows quiet again. We are finally left alone once more. Our group stops to breathe, still reeling from how close we came to the edge. Uh-oh. As if to mock our attempts to feel calm, the light of the sun starts to peek through the mist. We're running out of time. It shakes me to think this coming light is the true reason we were freed from the prowlers. Oh dear. The bridges are gonna go down. See, this is the problem. The fact that they rose so late screwed us up. I steel myself for the answer to the question I'm about to ask.
Is the shore close?
We will have to run.
Run! I swallow down my dry throat. The weight of the guide feels that much more overwhelming now. We're still ragged with exhaustion from the trial we only just survived. However, I stand firm to address them. I will not let anything drag us down.
We're almost there. We are going to make it.
Bemelle smiles boldly at my words. Margaret nods a little shakily, yet she also seems determined to not be left behind. I readjust the guide and tighten my grip on him. Then I begin to sprint down the bridge. As we run down a long stretch, a faint silhouette of land comes into view. I nearly can't believe that it's there when I see it. I ignore the pounding, aching feeling in my legs and pump them as hard as I can, focusing on the clear goal in the distance. We race against time as the sun rises even higher. Nearly all of the darkness has faded away. Even so, we don't stop. We keep pushing. Gonna save again. The guide abruptly demands a change in direction. I start to take a sharp turn to the left when the added weight of his body causes me to tilt. Oh shoot. Balance. I halt my steps and manage to keep myself from wobbling too much. Bemelle appears right at my side. His face is full of fear. I cannot blame him. That was a far closer call than I would have liked. A fragile smile breaks out past all the concern. He addresses the guide, who is still stubbornly clinging to my back.
We're close enough to the end, I think. If Kika gives the medicine back, would you be able to manage the rest of the walk on your own?
There isn't time for it to take effect.
Okay. I try to steady my shaking legs. I've carried him far longer than I've ever needed to lift another person before, but it has to be done. We can't leave him here.
Well then, might I help you with that dead weight? I'll take one arm and you can keep the other.
Oh no, is this another choice? Oh shoot. I don't know. I feel like we'll be more at risk, but then what if the same thing happens that happened with Bemelle? Then I'm too weak and tired and I lift up my eyes to meet his. They shine confidently. Bemelle is a good man. Involving another person may be quite a risk, yet at this point I feel it will be worth it. Between the two of us, we should have the strength to go on.
Yes. Thank you.
Oh, I didn't have a choice. Okay. I slide the guide down one side to make it easier for Bemelle to take hold. He takes position as the final part of a chain connecting all three of us. The guide's only contribution is a nearly inaudible sigh I only catch because his face is so close to my ear. Bemelle and I nod knowingly at one another. Then we begin to run, fighting against the sunrise and our own exhaustion. The three on our feet continue running as hard as we can until the dock draws near. And we finally make it to the shore. Whew! Yay! Oh, that's awesome. And nearly vault my body as far away from the shoreline as possible before completely collapsing onto the sand. Margaret's with us, sign. They didn't mention her, but she is there. The guide lets loose a deeply pained groan as he ends up being brought to the ground with me. He still takes the opportunity to gracelessly untangle himself from my hold. When I regain even the smallest modicum of strength, I dive my hand into one of my pouches and fetch the medicine we took from him. I offer the vial to the guide. He stares at it for a moment and then at me. He silently accepts it. I look at him with my thoughts mixed. Should I apologize? Even if this part of the journey everyone was spared, the guide still suffered from our actions. While I ponder over what to do, the guide doesn't show the same lack of surety. He disregards my glances and downs the vial completely. His eyes slam closed. Anything said to him would be unwanted, regardless of what it was. That much is clear. Assuming that he would prefer to finally have his own space returned, I push myself away. My joints creak, still burning from how much exertion they were forced to endure moments ago. The events that just unfolded flash before me. Suddenly, I feel myself being the one lifted. Oh? It's Bemelle, who holds me close to his chest. Oh, here we go! Romance time! I hear him quietly sniffling above me. Oh, loyalty. Oh, they look so cute! Oh, I'm so happy. I relax into Bemelle's embrace while wrapping my arms around his neck. Hot tears brim in the corner of my eyes, and I allow them to fall freely. I don't need a kiss. That moment right there, that is enough. That is perfect. Look at that mixed race beautiful couple. Oh, they're so cute. I ship it so hard. Yes. Ah, I love it. Aww. I'm a sucker. I can't. It's so cute. Through this great emotion, he speaks quietly, more to himself than anyone else.
Thank God.
The small statement makes it fully sink in that we reached the shore. We actually made it after everything. We're safe. I'm so overjoyed that he is here, that the both of us made it together. We stay like this as long as his worn state can manage. Even after placing me down, he never strays far. There is movement from the corner of my eye, and I notice that the guide is standing again. It is almost strange to see him behaving so normally, so distantly after what we went through. He draws near to us, his cloak swaying in the morning wind with each step he takes.
It is time to leave this place. There is nothing left for you here.
Upon being addressed by him, I rise to my feet. He has a calm look on his face, though there is force behind his serenity. I open my mouth in an attempt to speak. However, I quickly realize I still have little idea of what to say. He is untrustworthy, but in the end, we only were able to cross because of him. Isn't the guide James's voice? I don't think so, Coco. I think I would recognize my boo's voice anywhere, although I can see why you would kind of think that. You can look it up if you guys want. I'm pretty sure that's not him, though. He sounds a little too old, unless the voice actor is able to really change his voice. I don't know. And then the fog is removed from my thoughts. After everything that has happened, it becomes clear. I harden my face to match his serious disposition. There is something he is certainly right of. This lake isn't a place to linger. Going round and round in circles will never help. We cannot submit our lives or our minds to Sinlos. What I must do, if I truly want to defend others, is keep them from coming here at all. When I return to my village, I intend to make that information acutely known to our elder. For that to happen, we must leave.
Goodbye.
His eyes narrow as he looks over me. Did you guys pay him? Just gonna say, pay the man, even though he's a jerk. I begin to feel uncomfortable under his scrutiny, but for a moment, I could swear I noticed him smiling slightly. However, it could easily be a trick of the morning sun. Bemelle smirks lightly to himself, refusing to truly acknowledge the guide. I make no complaints. This is likely for the best. Margaret steps over to us and regards the guide with a pointed expression.
This will be goodbye for us as well. I appreciate the opportunity you've graced me with. However, I won't be returning here.
Yeah, nobody ever should. The guide offers no reaction to her statement. In fact, he says nothing at all. Instead, he simply turns on his heel and leaves us alone once more. We make no attempt to stop him, watching him silently as he disappears into the landscape. It is painfully clear that no matter how meaningful this is for us, it's only another day in his life. Once the guide fully departs, Margaret frowns harshly.
This all seems so terribly sad.
I know, right? But if you join us and we become an OT3, then it doesn't have to be sad, you know? I regard the lake again. It is isolated and desolate, the mist still covering the surface like a suffocating rag. My thoughts darken as memories of Lou come flooding in. Did the dude... The guy didn't ever say his name, did he? Is that his name? Lou? Because she shouldn't know his name if he didn't say it, right? Huh. Game? What gives? A warm, wide hand drapes over my shoulder and gives it a firm squeeze. Okay, the game messed up then. Well, apparently his name was Lou, and she somehow figured that out. I peer up to see Bemelle. He holds me in his gaze sympathetically.
We don't have to put all of this behind us. Especially not right at this moment.
I stare at him silently, tongue-tied at his words. He gives me a comforting smile. The smile lingers for a bit, before his expression promptly hardens.
I'm not sure I'm the same coming off the bridges as I was stepping onto them. It's something I'll always have to live with. That's all right, isn't it?
I stare at him tenderly.
Yes, It is.
This won't be the last time we face situations where lives are on the line. I understand that difficult decisions will need to be made. Still, I am not going to let anyone abandon someone else, if I can help it. I can always look for another way. After all, it's impossible that I could ever be the most logical person in the room. Someone else will stop too much recklessness from happening. And then, occasionally, my focus on finding a solution to help all instead of accepting a painful reality will make a difference.
I feel tears incoming and manage a smile for him, heartbroken and joyful.
I think that's wonderful. And very much like you.
You guys are so cute. He smiles happily, though then takes on a bashful look.
Let me add that I don't want you to feel as though you personally need to make up for my idealism. I'm not your responsibility, and I'd like for you to be happy and honest about how you feel, and...
He started rambling, so I cut him off before he can work himself up further. With a kiss?
Bemelle,
Aw.
you have never been my responsibility. You're my partner, and you don't have to worry about me either. I understand. As a pair, I take pride in how one is strong where the other is weak.
They're perfect for each other, man. Bemelle's eyes grow wet with tears of his own, and he grins ear to ear.
Kika, thank you.
Thank you too.
He wipes his damp eyes on his sleeve and chuckles self-consciously.
I hope that this means I'll be allowed to keep sharing your company from now on. It seems I've gotten used to seeing you each day.
I would love nothing more.
A warm sensation hovers between us. It means so much that we found what we each were missing in one another.
It truly is time for us to leave this place.
Bemelle stands a little taller.
That is music to my ears.
We turn around and walk away from the lake. Margaret notices and follows behind with no hesitation. I offer her a small smile, seeing her settle in step with me. Without looking back or stopping, I close my eyes and whisper beneath my breath, soft as a falling leaf. To all those left behind within the lake of Sinlos, I offer one last reverent parting word.
Farewell.
Yep, we're never returning. Okay, I hurried to Hemmer as quickly as I could. I already failed to help another during my journey. I could not afford to fail the villagers. They were grateful to see me, for it was a desperate situation indeed. The urgency meant that my mind was occupied with other matters. I worked tirelessly to aid Hemmer's own guards in forcing back the brigadiers. But during the moments of calm and when the sun went down, I would remember the lake. Bemelle was of great help during the fight. His outwardly positive demeanor lifted the spirits of many around him, but I could see the shadows in his eyes that he hadn't forgotten what we went through. Rather than be paralyzed by it, he's pushing himself to be even stronger. I admire that about him, and I fully intend to support him the way he does for me. After putting Sinlos behind her, Margaret explained where she was originally from, though she has no plans on returning. Ooh, we still gotta learn about her. You know what? I think I'm gonna have to play this game again. I'm so curious. Despite leaving everything she knew, Margaret boldly looks toward the future. I respect her for her bravery, and I hope for nothing more than the best. When receiving payments for his services, the guide must give a report of all those who both succeeded and failed to cross the lake. I was finally able to learn the name of the stranger we met on the bridges, Lou, even though she said it earlier. As the guide predicted, he did not survive. He had requested to cross and been denied. He must have been truly desperate to attempt the crossing alone. That's pretty sad. I can only pray that those who cared for him will learn the truth of what happened. I have not heard nor seen the guide since then. He will remain obscured in that realm of fog and fear, a mysterious light off in the distance that is ever out of reach of the real world. As the task in Hammer comes to a close, I mentally prepare myself to return home. I'm all too aware that things can never be as they were. What I know for certain is that my village elder must be told that no one is to cross Sinlos again. I've already told the Hemmer leaders the same. Not a single more person should have to experience what we did. Its darkness will remain with me for the rest of my days. Though so much was lost, I believe that our lessons will keep others from suffering the same way, and, in the end, something will be gained. This is the romance part, I'm sure. After we returned home, Bemelle adopted a wolf dog named Diedrich. He did not enjoy being alone at night so soon after what we witnessed on Sinlos. I could understand how he felt. I told him that I am there at any time if needed. Now, he, along with Diedrich, regularly make themselves at home in my cabin. I would be lying if I said it did not bring me comfort having him here. We still spar together and are often partnered for missions, meaning we spend most days together. Y'all should just get married, man. I mean, not that you have to, but you could. It is incredible to still find fulfillment in these small joys, despite the pain and hardship. I will continue to do all I can to protect others, as well as the life I've come to love. Lake of Voices. Achievement unlocked pain. I guess. Okay. Huh. Here's our voice cast. Alyssa Park, Michael Potok, Elsie Lovelock. Oh, duh. Brendan Blaber, Phil Avaros. Elsie Lovelock, I didn't know she's the one who does, the lady from The Letter. Duh. I like Elsie Lovelock a lot. She, I follow her on YouTube, and she sings really beautifully. Alright, so... Okay, I guess that's it. Wow, that was a great game. I will probably play it again on my own time whenever I feel like it, and pursue the other romances. Unless you guys want me to stream it again to pursue other stuff while you guys are watching. I don't know. I feel like I don't have to. I mean, you guys could play it yourself too if you wanted. I know Signed wants to. It's free on Steam. Lake of Voices. Alright, so that's it for tonight.